Thanks for checking out my micro drawings channel. Today I'm drawing Linus making a snowball. And if you haven't, please subscribe and share with others. I'll start off by showing you what my work setup looks like. Here I'm starting with the Canson acid-free XL Bristol Smooth 100 weight paper. And it's a good paper for this kind of work because it doesn't allow much bleeding. So there you can see I have a couple pieces cut already. There's the holder for my phone. I just put my iPhone up in there. And there's my light I use. It gives a nice clear light. And there's an acrylic display case and a cutter that you'll see me use later. There are the Copic sketch markers I use. And there's a piece of Canson scrap paper to test out my colors. There's my Copic multi-liner 0.03 on the right. Quarter and pencil for scale in the middle there. So I'll get started. I usually like to start with the facial feature because that's a real obvious thing. If you screw it up, you got to start over basically. So I figure I'll get that out of the way. So in this case, I'm starting with Linus's nose, and his little eyes are just two little dots, and they're kind of right in line with the nose. And then he's got these little commas or parentheses, the little face wrinkles, I guess, right along his eyes. And then I put the edge of the hat that's on his head there and the cheek on his right side, our left, as we're looking at him. And I'm just kind of working along here lightly. I do speed this part up. Takes at least twice as long as what you're seeing on the video here. So, but it gets a little old and boring maybe if you're watching it. So I like to speed it up, and probably doesn't look too bad at the speed it's at. And there's the snowball going in. And then I'll be putting his hands around it and a couple motion lines. There's his tongue sticking out of his mouth. Gives a cute little look there for Linus. Again, this is a 0.03 Copic multi-liner that I'm using for the black drawing. And there I've got his hands. Now I'm adding his neck. And just continuing to work. Putting his fingers around the snowball. And there I'm putting kind of the cuffs of his jacket or his winter coat. And there's his right arm. And there's those movement lines I talked about. And there I'm working down a coat on his belly and on his back here. And kind of has there's the hand or the arm for his left. And there's the trim along the bottom of his coat. Now I'm just adding not a lot of detail here on the legs for him. Just kind of scribbled in there black. I'll go over it with the gray when I move on to my Copic sketch markers. And then I'll give a couple shoes or boots here. I'm not sure what they are, but they're kind of down into the snow a little bit anyways. So, and then just adding a couple other lines there to make it look like there's a continuation. So that's it as far as the black outline drawing. Next on to the Copic sketch markers. And you'll see there's two ends here. This broad chisel end I don't use. I use this fine tip end. And I just very lightly touch to the paper. Again, this paper doesn't allow much bleeding, which is great. Otherwise, if I touch with a regular marker and paper in a situation like this, I would just have a big old ink blob or lake, pond, or whatever you want to call it. And here I'll show the caps. There's the lemon yellow I used for the yellow trim. There's a cool gray there. I'm going to put that on his snow pants or pants, whatever they are. And sometimes I'll rotate the paper to work that fine tip right into, the tight spots. Try not to do that too much, just so you as the viewer can see the whole work being done. So there's a lime green. I'll use that for his hat, the main part of his hat and his coat. Again, just really lightly touching into there. With this drawing, I'm not doing blending of colors. If you check out some of my other videos on the channel, you'll see a lot more blending. Ant-Man did a lot of blending on that one. And there's Ice Ocean. That's like my go-to snow shadow. So I just put a little bit on the bottom of the snowball there. There's Cotton Pearl, using that for the skin tones there on Linus's face and his hands and his neck. And just being careful to leave the tongue uncolored, so I can come back and add a little pink for that. And in this case, I did need to turn it upside down so I could work right up to that snowball instead of having the cotton pearl bleed into the snowball a little bit. So there's a pink, that'll be for his tongue. Just very carefully touching that in there. And then basically all I've got left here is to put today's date, the 1st of February of 2021. And next I'll show you how I put this into the acrylic display case. And you'll see a Calvin and Hobbes drawing here. And I'll be replacing that. But you see it's two sides, two pieces, thick pieces that go together. Those little round spots in the corner are actually magnets. So I just need to lay this out, and then I'll use that cutter to cut and trim right along all the four edges. And I'll do that when I'm not filming, because I'm just one person filming this and I don't have a good vantage point. So at any rate, there it is. Snapping it together, pushing that flush. And there it is, nice little display case. Thanks again for checking out the channel. Have a great day.